Do you know your organization well enough in order to make an effective change? And I mean, know your organizational culture well enough. Welcome to Great Transition Strategies Monday Morning Stand Up. 5 minutes to get your week off to a great start and potentially give you something to help make you a more effective leader, but more importantly, so you can love what you do. Schein's model of organizational culture is a great tool to help you if you want to make a change in your organizational culture. So, as I go through this, I'm going to go through his model, and I want you to think about your organization. If you're leading a team, leading a company, small business, what's the culture in your organization? Kind of define it. All right. And now we're going to look at these three areas. Schein's model is made up of three areas. Number one is artifacts and behaviors. Two, espoused values. Three, underlying assumptions. So let's talk about each one of them, and you evaluate yourself as we do them. First one, artifacts and behaviors. That is what you see when you walk in an organization. You walk in, what do you see? If you walk into a Google, Amazon, IBM, a law firm, consulting firm, what do you see? You're going to see some artifacts and behaviors. Office setup, open spaces, closed spaces, small offices, small, big, collaborative spaces. Bloomberg in New York City, they have their top floor is wide open. The CEO has an open office. Everyone, collaboration is what you see. What do you see in your organization, and what are the behaviors? Collaborative, not folks working on their own. That tells you something about the culture of that organization, but it does not tell you everything you need to know. Next, espoused values. What are espoused values? Those are the documents that say this is how we expect you to behave in here. This is the culture that we want. Mission, vision, values, policy, procedures, how you do things, the things that are on the wall that say this is how we want you to act. So that's the ideal. That's what the organization wants. But does the audio always match the video? Do you always get what you say you want there? Not always. So that's what they say. This is how we want you to act. Last one, underlying assumptions. Those are the things that you are unable to challenge. Those are things that are just not talked about. They're just there for a long time. So if I say, what do you think what are some underlying assumptions at IBM? Oh, you probably have a number that come to mind, or that you think come to mind. Apple, Google, ping pong tables, beanbag chairs. What are some of the assumptions there? It's going to be collaborative. What if you're working for a law firm that's focused on billable hours, or a consulting firm focused on billable hours? What are some of the assumptions that are just assumed and cannot be challenged? This is where you really need to spend some time digging apart. All three parts of this are important. This is the most important that you need to figure out. All right. So here you are. You're in an organization. You're in an organization. Say it's a new organization, a startup. They probably are not. Their culture is probably not as stable. It can change. IBM, someone's been GE, someone's been there a long time. It's a little more difficult to change. Mature, stable cultures or organizations with a stable culture usually have had folks together for a long period of time. They've been together for a long period of time. They have solved problems a certain way. And then as folks came in, they passed along those to other folks that joined. This is what we did to solve this problem. That's what makes their culture stable. So over a long period of time, it's more difficult to change. Startup, easy to change because they're not ingrained in the organization. Mature, stable cultures does not equal good. So think about that. So think about your organization. What are the underlying assumptions in your organization, and how can you find them out? What are you going to do to unearth those and find them out? When I work with an executive who is going into an organization new and they know they want to do something with their culture, one of the exercises I'll do with them is I call it the history of us. Let's say you have a team of 8. We will get the person, when we have all of them in the room, we'll get the person who's the longest tenured, talk about, I came here 25 years ago, and what was the culture like when you came, and what has changed over time. And they'll explain it. And they'll build a timeline up to the next person. Next person, this is what it was like when I came, and here's what's changed over the time I've been here. Here's what's happened. To the next person, all the way till we get to the newest person there. That gives you incredible insight into the underlying assumptions and what is driving that organization. So you're in there, so you can make an effective change. Hope you found that helpful. See you next Monday morning, 8:30. Have a great week.